Hello, welcome, and thank you so much for joining me for this prenatal yoga practice. This practice is indicated for women at any stage of their pregnancy, and if you happen to be in your third trimester, this practice has the added benefit of helping to encourage baby into the optimal fetal position. So we're going to get started today in Sukhasana, cross-legged seat. And I'd like for you to sit onto a folded blanket. Any blanket that you have at home will do. I'm seated onto a baby blanket. And this is encouraging that fetal positioning. This is something that we want to do throughout the entirety of our pregnancy, is to help the pelvis be supported through either pillows behind our back when we're sitting on the couch or driving in the car, or a little blanket tucked under our seat. There's a natural sway to the low back that encourages the muscles and the ligaments to behave in a certain way that helps to really position the baby well in the pelvis. So please be mindful throughout your pregnancy, no slouching. We want to come home and kick back onto the couch, I know, but let's sit up. So when you're ready, letting the legs cross and the hands rest to the thighs. Take the spine up nice and tall and begin to close your eyes. Taking a nice full breath in through the nose and big full breath out. We'll rest our right hand to our heart and our left hand to our belly, to baby's home. Beginning to breathe evenly beneath both of our hands. Greeting yourself and greeting baby. Turning our awareness from our busy lives, from our external environment, to our inner world. During pregnancy, we have this incredible ability to really find balance from the inside, to find connection from the inside. During this time, we have a deep connection to our inner environment, to our subtle body, and to the truth within our hearts. And pregnancy is also a time in which we have a lot of advice coming at us from all directions, the internet, our friends, our family. And while we do want to take some advice from those we love or trust or even admire, it's incredibly important that we listen to our own truth during this time, to our own knowing, our own voice, because this process is incredibly wise. And I want you to remember that you already have everything you need to carry this baby, to give birth to this baby, and to mother this baby. Remembering that this process is wise, and that your baby as well is wise. That it's you and your baby in this together, and that this is your journey and nobody else's. So as you continue to deepen your breath here, just drop into that knowing, into that inner truth, into that inner voice, inner wisdom, inner teacher. Greeting your baby and feeling the connection, the deep-rooted, wise connection that exists between the two of you. And taking a few more deep breaths here. Send your little baby a message from your heart. And joining our palms to prayer in front of our own hearts, we'll open our class with the sound of Om. Taking a full breath in. And as you exhale, release your hands and slowly blink your eyes open. As you inhale, extend your legs out wide, Uttanasana Konasana, extending the legs and flexing through the soles of the feet. The fingertips come alongside the hips. And as you inhale, stretch your arms out and up. Lift your chest, lift your gaze. And as you exhale, fingertips come down alongside your hips. Inhaling, the palms join overhead. And exhaling, fingertips lower. Inhaling, palms come to touch. And as you exhale, take the left hand down, stretch the right arm up and over, along through the side waist and side ribs. As you inhale, come up through center, and exhale, take the right hand down, stretch the left arm up and over. And just like that, swaying with your breath, we'll move through side to side. And you can kind of take your head and neck along for the ride if that feels good for you. Breathing more space into the sides of the waist and the sides of the ribs. So there's more room for mama and more room for baby. And the next time that you pass through center, pause, extend your arms out wide, and we're just going to take some circles into the wrists and into the ankles, moving in one direction. Keep lifting your chest, and then we'll take it in the other direction. Moving some circulation through the hands and the feet. And as you exhale, gently release, catch hold of the backs of the knees, and draw the soles of the feet to touch for Baddha Konasana, making a big diamond shape with your legs. As you inhale, draw your chest forward, pull your elbows back, your collarbones broad. And as you exhale, walk your hands down your shins and tuck your chin to your chest, rounding through the upper back. With an inhale, the chest opens. And as you exhale, arms lengthen forward and we round in. A few more times with your breath, inhaling to open and exhaling, curling in. Enjoying that rhythm of your breath, guiding your movements. And the next time that you come through center, pause. Inhaling, lift the chest, and exhaling, coming forward and down if that feels appropriate for you. Otherwise, letting the fingertips stay behind your hips, lifting the chest. So sometimes, especially if you're later into your pregnancy, it just feels better to stay upright. So wherever you find some more space, going there and taking a few more steady cycles of breath. And then as you inhale, work yourself back up through center. And with your hands to your thighs, as though you were stirring a big pot with your torso, we'll take some nice, slow torso circles. Letting these movements really be just a tool for exploration. So we're checking in with the many different parts of the body and using the asanas, the shapes of the poses, to form an inquiry. How am I feeling there? Could I use a little more breath in this one area? If you find a spot where you're feeling pretty tense or tight or tender, hang out there and invite in some more breath. We're going to take this in the opposite direction. Just breathing, just exploring. It's like when we're moving through our pregnancies, we're really working with a whole new body. The body changes in so many ways to accommodate for your baby. So being really gentle with yourself, really tender with yourself. And taking a few more breaths here, letting those circles be as small or as big as you'd like. And as you pass back through center, pause, catch hold of the outsides of the knees, and draw them to close. So we're coming onto our hands and knees, with our hands beneath our shoulders and our knees directly beneath our hips. So if you have some, blocks are really helpful for a prenatal practice. We just need to make a little more room and a little more support. If you don't have blocks at home, some cans of soup or beans or even some stacked books would be great. So as you find yourselves to hands and knees, let the hands rest right beneath the shoulders and the knees directly beneath the hips. And as you inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart. And as you exhale, curl in, press into your palms and round the chin toward the chest. Inhaling, the belly drops, the heart lifts. And as you exhale, the spine rounds. Inhaling, belly drops, heart lifts. And exhaling, spine rounds. As you inhale, pass back through center and pause. And real nice and easy, we're just kind of going to wag the tail, taking the hips side to side, stretching into the outer glutes and the outer seam of the legs. And then as you inhale, pass back through center. Now isolating just the pelvis. With an inhale, lift the sitting bones up and back. So resist the urge to really drop into the whole of the spine, isolating the upper back and mid back so that they're not moving, but just lifting those sitting bones. And then as you exhale, lengthen your tailbone toward the backs of your knees. So this is a very subtle, very small movement. With an inhale, the sitting bones lift up and back. And with an exhale, the tailbone scoops down and lengthens. Good. So just the pelvis moving here. We'll take a few more rounds. And these movements are really small, like little micro movements of the pelvis. 2 more breaths. And as you inhale, relax back through center. Finding puppy dog pose, our knees and hips stay in directly the same line, but we'll begin to crawl our hands forward so the forehead comes down to the mat. The palms are spread nice and wide, and the elbows and forearms continue to lift up and away from the floor. As you press into your palms, reach the outer hips up and back. Taking some nice deep breaths into the low back, into the mid back, into the upper back, growing long through the sides of the waist and the side body. And as you inhale, slowly crawl your hands back beneath your shoulders. Gazing down to your hands, spread your fingers nice and wide. Energetically hug your arms toward one another. Tuck your toes and stretch your hips up and back for downward facing dog, letting the crown of your head hang toward the floor. And if your knees or your thighs are feeling sensitive, we could place a bend into the knees and really focus on lengthening the outer hips up and back. And then one by one, begin to pedal the heels, lengthening one heel down toward the earth, and then the next. Opening into the calves and the backs of the thighs. And with your next inhalation, gaze between your hands, taking it nice and slow. Start to walk your feet wide, keeping with bent knees, as you walk your feet forward toward the head of your mat. And as you arrive, place your hands to your blocks, forward folding in Uttanasana, forward fold. So in pregnancy, we really want to have the feet wide, about as wide as the mat, and the knees softly bent to accommodate for the belly between the thighs. So let your stance be wide, let your knees bend softly, and feel how that just opens up space for your belly and for your low back, draping your torso down any amount that feels appropriate for you. And as you inhale, press your palms to your blocks. Lengthen your chest tall and heel toe your feet back to hips width apart. Sinking your seat, bend into your knees and inhale, reach your arms alongside your ears for Utkatasana, pulling your low belly muscles up and in, gently hugging those muscles around the baby as you lift long and tall through the sides of the waist, spreading the arms, reaching through the fingers. And as you inhale, press through the floor, rise all the way up to stand and lengthen your hands alongside your body. From the top of the mat, take your feet hips distance apart. Lift and spread your toes and ground down through the 4 corners of the feet. As you inhale, root through your feet, stretch your arms out and up, look up. And as you exhale, open the arms wide, forward fold, placing your hands to blocks beneath the shoulders. Inhale, pressing your palms to your blocks, draw your chest forward. And as you exhale, step your left foot back for runner's lunge. Your blocks come to the inside of your front foot. Press down into your feet. Energetically hug your legs in toward one another. and come up high onto the ball of the back foot. So our legs are really powerful, really engaged. Taking 2 more breaths here, breathing right into the back of the heart, into the low back. And as you exhale, pivot your left heel down to the floor. With an inhale, cartwheel your arms open for Warrior 2, Virabhadrasana 2. And I like to sort of heel toe my right foot more in toward the center of my mat. Aligning your feet, softening your shoulders, and hugging all the muscles of your arms to the bone, even the underside of your arms. Set your gaze off your right fingertips. Pressing strong and clear through your back leg. Taking a full breath in and a full breath out. Feeling your strength, your wisdom, and your focus. And as you inhale, slowly straighten through your right leg. Shifting your hips back, reach for the front of your mat until you can't reach any further. And take that right hand down to your shin or to a block placed on the outside of your foot. And as you press your right hand into that block, pivot your chest around to face the side wall, extending up and open through your top arm, Utthita Trikonasana, extended triangle pose. If it feels nice, pivot your left palm to face the wall behind you, and bending at the elbow, we'll snake that hand to the small of our back, using a bit of counter pressure here to help open across the top collarbone and the left side chest. As you inhale, extend left arm. Pressing through the feet, slowly rise back up through standing. Inhaling, lifting the chest. Exhaling, bending into the right knee, Warrior 2. With an inhale, bend into your right elbow and take the forearm to the top of the thigh. The left arm comes alongside the ear. And with your right hand, you can greet your baby. Taking your hand to your belly as you breathe right into your palm. Baby just centimeters beneath your skin. Resting safe and strong in their watery world. And then pressing through your feet, slowly rise back up through Warrior 2. Taking a full breath in. And as you exhale, cartwheel your hands back to your blocks. Come onto the ball of your left foot. Release your left knee to the mat. Take your right knee back to meet it, finding all fours. Hands are beneath the shoulders, knees are beneath the hips. And as you inhale, drop your belly, lift your heart, lift your sitting bones. Full cat-cow. As you exhale, round, pressing the palms into the mat and the chin to the chest. Inhaling, belly drops, heart lifts. And exhaling, spine rounds. Inhaling, belly drops, heart lifts. Exhaling, spine rounds. As you inhale, come back to neutral spine. Exhaling, tuck your toes, stretch your hips up and back, downward facing dog. With an inhale, come onto the balls of the feet, lift the heels high. And as you exhale, melt the heels down toward the mat. Inhaling, heels lifting. Exhaling, heels melt down. Once more, inhaling, heels are lifting. Exhaling, heels melt down. As you inhale, gaze between your hands. And exhale, find that slow, wide walk to the top of your mat. With an inhale, the palms press to the shins, lengthen the back. And as you exhale, bow forward, using the help of your blocks, Uttanasana. Inhaling, rooting through the feet, stretch the arms out and up, reach up, Utthita Hastasana. And as you exhale, release the hands alongside the body, Tadasana. Second side. With an inhale, root through the feet, arms sweep up. And with an exhale, swan dive, forward fold, releasing. Inhale, draw the heart forward. And as you exhale, step your right foot back, runner's lunge. Your blocks come to the inside of the foot as you press down through both feet, hugging the legs toward one another. So I love that when you do this, you really feel your legs power up. It's like you can kind of play along and go slack through the pelvis, and this is us resting into our ligaments, which are extra loosey-goosey during pregnancy, accommodating for all the bones to shift. And now let's do the opposite. Really press through your feet, hug your legs in toward one another, and this is where we want to be, building the musculature that surrounds the pelvis, building the strength of the pelvic floor. And with your next exhalation, turn your right heel down and inhale to cartwheel the arms open, warrior two. Heel toeing that left foot more toward the center of the mat as you align your feet. Softening the shoulders, setting the gaze off the left fingertips, and powerfully pressing your legs down into the earth. I like to imagine these roots coming out of my feet, digging deep into the soil, connecting me. Strong mamas, connected to their bodies, connected to the earth. And as you inhale, straighten through your left leg. Shift your hips back, reach for the front of the mat until you can't get any longer. The left hand comes to a block or to the shin as you extend open Utthita Trikonasana, taking the gaze to the side wall or toward your top hand. Gathering the shoulder blades onto the back, broadening across the chest and creating lots of space through the side body. You can pivot the right palm to face behind you as you bend into that elbow and work the right shoulder head back, right collarbone broad. Continue pressing evenly through both feet. And as you inhale, the top arm extends. Rooting through the feet, slowly rise back up to standing. Exhale, warrior two, left knee tracks above the ankle. Taking a full breath in. Exhale, bend into the left elbow, left forearm top of the thigh, and right arm comes alongside the ear. Creating a long line of energy from the right heel all the way out through the right fingertips. As you press through your feet, rebound and revolve your chest open. And with your left hand, greet your baby. Breathing into your palm. And taking one more smooth breath in. And with your next inhalation, slowly rise back through warrior two. And exhale, cartwheel your hands to your blocks, pivoting onto the ball of the right foot and releasing that right knee down. Making your way back to all fours. Placing your hands beneath your shoulders and your knees beneath your hips as you rock the hips side to side. So finding that little wag of the tail once more. Pressing into the outer hips, the outer seam of the thighs. And as you inhale, step your right foot to the outside of your right hand. So I really like to use the blocks here just to give myself a little more height. And you can begin to come forward into the pelvis, but I'd like for you to keep a tiny action of gathering the legs toward one another. So we don't want to totally rest into the ligaments, into our flexibility here. I want you to still engage the musculature of the legs by hugging those legs in toward each other. And as you press your palms to your blocks, take your chest tall. And if it feels appropriate for you, you can lower yourself to your forearms for lizard pose. If it feels like the right thigh is a little too close against the belly, you can always heel toe it further to create a bit more space. Taking those big full breaths way down into the belly, way down into the pelvic floor. And as you inhale, plant your palms to your blocks. Slowly press yourself back, flexing through the right foot and shifting the hips back, getting a big stretch into the underseam of that right leg. Spreading through the toes, spreading even through the little pinky toe. And then the sole of the right foot comes down. Take the right knee back to meet the left, and we'll step the left foot to the outside of our blocks. Begin to settle the pelvis down, and then find that element of engagement. Gentle hugging in of the legs toward one another. Either remain with your arms straight, or if you did so on the first side, lowering down, lizard pose. Gentle hugging in of the legs as you direct your breath way down to baby. Cultivating softness and opening with every full breath in, and a letting go with every full breath out. Giving birth asks us to be as strong as we've ever been, and you will be. But it also asks of us that we are as soft as we've ever been, and in as much surrender as we've ever been. So really feeling that balance here through your yoga practice, strong, but also yielding, also soft. Another full breath. And as you inhale, plant your palms. Work your arms towards straight and flex through that left foot, shifting the hips back. Breathing some big clearing breaths into the underside of your whole left leg. Spreading through your toes. And taking the sole of that left foot to the floor, step the left knee back to meet the right. The blocks come forward, hands come beneath the shoulders, and we'll move through cat and cow 3 rounds with your breath. And as you pass back through center, tucking your toes, stretch your hips up and back, downward facing dog. And with an inhale, gaze between your hands. And exhale, slowly step your feet forward to the top of your mat. With an inhale, the palms reach to the blocks, lengthen flat back. And as you exhale, bow in, feet nice and wide, knees wide to accommodate for the belly. As you inhale, sink your seat low, extend your arms, Utkatasana. Feel the chest lifting, legs strong. Inhaling, press to the floor, rise tall. And exhaling, release your hands alongside your body. Stepping your left foot back, turn the left toes, knee, and hip to face the front left corner of your mat. And as you inhale, reach your arms tall. And exhale, bend into the right knee, Virabhadrasana 1. As you inhale, take your arms out wide and interlace your hands behind your back. Inhale, the knuckles draw low, lift the chest tall. And as you exhale, bow forward any amount, humble warrior. Keep tracking the right knee over the ankle. You can come to drop the torso into line with the front thigh, or you can stay somewhat upright. Taking 2 more breaths here, wherever you are. Legs are gently drawing in toward one another. And as you exhale, release the grip of the hands. Inhaling, arms sweep up alongside the ears. And exhale, with a big step, the left foot comes forward to meet the right. Full breath in. Full breath out. With an inhale, the right foot steps back, big stride. Toes, knee, and hip angle toward the front right corner of the mat. Inhaling, arms sweep out. Exhaling, Virabhadrasana 1, left knee tracks above the ankle. As you inhale, arms come out wide. And exhale, interlace hands behind the back. With an inhale, knuckles comes low, chest reaches tall. Exhale, bow and fold. Humble warrior. Legs continue to hug in toward one another. Chest is reaching tall. Taking 1 more breath wherever you are. So staying upright if it feels like too much compression. And with an inhale, step that right foot forward to meet the left. Hands come to the heart. Full breath in and full breath out. We'll move through a series of squat flows, and you can take this in one of 3 variations. So following along and moving through the variation that feels most appropriate for your body. As you inhale, the arms sweep out and up. As you exhale, hands come to the heart. Reach the bum back behind you, pressing through the heels. Inhaling, arms sweep out and up, rise to standing. That was variation 1. As you exhale, hands come to the thighs. Bum reaches back behind you, weight settles into the heels. Inhaling, rise to standing. That was variation 2. Turn your heels in slightly, your toes out slightly. And as you exhale, lower your fingertips either to your blocks or to the floor as you come into your squat. Variation 3. On the inhale, press up through the floor and rise to standing. So that's going to be different each and every time you practice, choosing what feels best for you today. And then as you inhale, reach up tall. And as you exhale, lower down. Inhaling, press through the floor, rising. And as you exhale, lower down. So linking this with breath, big full breath in through the nose. And as you exhale, blow out through gently pursed lips as though you were blowing through a straw. Inhaling, rising. And exhaling, lowering. Good. Continuing on with your breath. Really feeling the strength of your legs with the big inhale to rise. And the softness of your jaw, of the muscles of your face as you blow out through the lips and lower down. So we imagine with this breath, the golden thread breath, that we're spinning a spool of golden thread. It's extending out to all the women who've come before us, who've mothered before us, given birth before us, all the women in our circle. Knowing that we're loved, we're connected, and we're supported. And by softening the jaw and softening the muscles of the face, we can also soften the bottom. This is a really effective form of breath for giving birth, and one that many women tap into intuitively. Your body will know how it needs to breathe for support. Your body will know what position it wants to be in to labor. Trusting yourself and listening when the time comes. Let's take one more here, big full breath in. And the next time that you come down, we'll lower into Malasana, squat pose. So I really recommend having a block beneath your seat here. And as you come down to your block, let your forearms rest to your knees. Let your palms turn upward. And your shoulders soften down your back. Inviting your eyes to close here. If this position is not comfortable for you, I recommend trying it with your back supported by a wall, or by placing even more height beneath your bottom, sometimes 2 blocks stacked. And as your heart rate starts to slow down, begin to slow down your breath as well. So staying connected to your breath during labor will be of the utmost service to you and to baby. The uterus is working incredibly hard. The body works incredibly hard to bring your baby into the world. And one of the best things you can do for yourself is to breathe well. Not only will it oxygenate and support your physical body and your baby, but it will calm you, it will serve as your anchor, and it will be the one thing that you can control through the entire experience. So practicing your breath and breathing well, breathing generously and sweetly. And as you're ready, gently open your eyes. And no truly graceful way to do it. We're just going to plant our hands behind us or to the side of us and carefully come off of our block. And we'll extend our right leg forward toward the upper right-hand corner of our mat. And the sole of our left foot will come to our inner right thigh. So this is another great place to have your bottom supported by your blanket. Sole of the left foot comes to the inner right thigh. And as you inhale, turn your chest to the space between your legs. And as you exhale, either walk your hands forward, if that feels good for your body. Or again, if you're feeling a little short on space these days, the fingertips behind your hips. is a really nice variation. Wherever you are, flex through the right foot and energetically ground down through that right thigh bone. Creating space at the base of the pelvis as well as at the back of the pelvis. And then extend your left leg out wide, taking the sole of the right foot to the inner left thigh. And flexing through that left foot, inhale, lift the chest, and either stay or crawl those fingertips forward. Big breaths down into the base of the pelvis, into the backs of the legs. And as you inhale, slowly crawl those hands back and toward your body and bring yourself back around through center. If you have blocks handy, this pose can be done with a block. Otherwise, we'll use our blanket by folding it into somewhat of a square shape. And as you inhale, come onto your shins. And as you exhale, take your blanket and place it between your heels, coming down into Virasana, Hero's Pose. If you have your block can be placed right between your ankles. And as you inhale, sweep your right arm up, bending at the elbow, catching hold of the right elbow with the left hand. And either staying here or extending through your left arm, pivoting the palm to face behind you, the thumb to face down, and then sweeping it behind your back, maybe to catch hold of your shirt or of your fingertips. Working your collarbones broad and your shoulder heads back. One more full breath in, full breath out. And exhaling, lean slightly forward to release your arms. We'll inhale, sweep the arms up, bending into the left elbow. Right hand catches the top of the left elbow and either stay here if this feels like a good enough stretch. Or as you inhale, take the right arm out, pivot the thumb to face the floor, and then bending into those elbows, work the hands toward one another. So if the fingertips feel too far away to reach one another, rather than straining, we can just catch hold to our shirt or even use a belt or a belt from a robe. You might notice a big difference from one side to the other. Broadening your collarbones. Feel the sitting bones rooting down. The crown of the head growing tall, shining tall. And then as you exhale, lean forward. Unravel the arms. And come off to sit onto your side. Coming down to lie onto our left side for our final Shavasana, I recommend having a blanket or your blocks placed between your knee and your ankles. So this is really nice if you have a pillow handy or a bolster, but for those of you who are just practicing at home on the fly, folded blanket will do just fine. And walking yourself onto your left side, create a little pillow with your head, really setting yourself up here in any way that will allow you to feel comfortable and rest quietly for the next few moments. And when you're ready, go ahead and close your eyes. Feeling the support of the earth beneath you, holding you. The breath in the body rising and falling gently, surrounding you and your baby in love and well-being. resting into the knowledge that you already have everything within you to carry this baby, to give birth to this baby, and to be the most incredible mother to this little baby. Taking rest together in your final Shavasana. Please gently begin to deepen your breath. To bring some movement back to your hands and your feet. And keeping your eyes closed and your body heavy, start to work your way to a comfortable seat, Sukhasana. And as you arrive, let your right hand rest to your heart center, and your left hand rest to your belly. I'd like to close our class today with a quote by Harriet Hartigan. Giving birth and being born brings us into the essence of creation, where the human spirit is courageous and bold, and the body a miracle of wisdom. Courageous, bold, and wise. Letting those words circle through your mind and through your heart. Courageous, bold, wise. And joining your hands to prayer in front of your own heart, in gratitude for the gift to be able to take part in this incredible form of creation. We'll seal our class with the sound of Om, taking a full breath in. Om. Namaste. All the best to you and to your babies. Thank you so much for joining me.